Are you looking for ways for using your A2 or 8.5 by 11 pattern paper without making scraps? Hi, I'm Jess from JessCrafts.com, and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's get making. Today I have a template that shares how to turn one piece of A2 size paper into 2 A2 cards without leaving any pattern paper scraps. You can use this with 8.5 by 11 paper as well, because if you cut one piece of 8.5 by 11 paper into 4 equal parts, you'll get one piece of A2 sized paper, and so then you'll make a total of 8 cards. To get started, I am going to pick a piece of paper from the Magical Patterned Collection from Scrapbook.com. They did give away this A2 pad as a freebie with order recently, and so I thought it'd be fun to show you at least one idea for how you could use it. So if you have gotten some of those pads, all of these A2 paper busting templates are great for that. This is number 10, which means there are 9 others available at jesscrafts.com. So we're gonna start by cutting our A2 size paper in half, so it's 5.5, and then cutting that in half will make it 2 3/4. And so then each one of these chunks is going to make a card. So then we're going to take that and we're going to cut it to 2.5. So we have a 2.5 by 2 3/4, and that is going to be our large focal point image. And then this next piece we need to cut to 1 3/4, which will also leave us a 1-inch piece. We're going to use both sides of this pattern paper. So we have the stripe side for some of the card, and we have the dot side. Now, while the stripes they've picked a direction for them on the pattern paper, you can of course change them. This will work with directional pattern paper though. So if you only have directional pattern paper, no worries, this sketch still works. And then we're gonna put a mat around them, so a piece of cardstock that's slightly larger. When I cut the mats, I'll cut them a 1/4 inch bigger. So my piece that is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 would get a 2 by 2 inch mat. So I'm going to place those according to the sketch, and the smaller one's going to go on the top. You can, of course, mix things up if you want the smaller one on the bottom, if you want to, change things around, you want to turn it into a sort of portrait style card somehow. I'm just giving you a suggestion for how I would use the pieces. And then in this case, I show you how to do it with directional pattern paper. So I show you the longer end of the piece of paper here, the 2 by 2 2.5 by 2 3/4. I show it in the directional way, like this. But because of the particular pattern paper I'm using, I'm going to turn it on its side today. And I'm going, I got to put my pattern papers down. So I'll get the polka dots there and there. And then I'm going to put the stripe going this way because I want to use the white space, the white stripes, for my sentiment. So I think I'm a little crooked today. And I also put a little extra piece of cardstock behind this side of the panel so that it would lay a little bit more flat across the card, since this side was being kind of popped up by these pieces of pattern paper here. I used a stamp set from Fawn. It was part of their more recent release, Happy Couples, and there's a lot of different couples in here, and you could totally use this for like wedding cards. It's kind of that season. People are starting to need a few of those. You pull in the arch, maybe the top hat, bow tie, veil, etc. But I think it's a set you can just use any old time as well. I colored these, I colored all of the ones that I did color. I colored the bunnies and the mice. Oh, sorry for shaking the camera there. And the cats. All the same. And what I did was I colored one in a cool gray marker and one in a warm gray marker. I thought it might be interesting to see that, like, even though these are both gray markers, they can give you quite a different effect, and seeing them side by side really highlights that. So if you have, I'm using Copic markers here, but whether you're using colored pencils, or I think there's like Olo markers, all kinds of different markers out there, just because two are being marketed as gray doesn't mean that they're going to be the exact same color. And it can be beneficial to have some of the light, the cooler and warmer grays, as they give quite a different effect. And then I'm going to use a different Lawn Fawn stamp set. You could totally pull one from that sentiment, but I'm using the Long Distance Hugs. I think this was one of their promotional stamp sets at one point, and it does have these coordinating dies that you can purchase with it. So if you need your sentiment, if it like won't stamp well on your patterned paper, you can die cut it out, and that's kind of it's a helpful option for those of us who like to use a lot of pattern paper, because you can't always find a section of pattern paper to stamp on. I'm taking advantage today of having this white stripe on here, but like if you were using the polka dot paper as your main focal point, it would be a lot harder. And I'm also using this as an opportunity to tie my red in. So here I have the Lawn Fawn Cranberry ink, and I've used that to add some red in. You could also, if you wanted, pull in the red by adding like a flower, a bow tie, the tie, etc. to the animals, or stamping some red hearts or something like that. Sequins would also be great. A little smattering them, some, Nouveau drops, etc. Any of that would help you to pull in that red color. And I do have two more that I can make another set of cards with. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links and your free template. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!